guide you through different types of walls first, and then we'll go to demo and I will show you how to create different walls with Foyr Neo. First, maybe a few words about me. So my name is Magda. Some of you might know me from masterclasses. I'm working as a product expert here in Foyr Neo, but I'm also a freelance interior designer. I always loved interiors, I'd say, as most of interior designers do. So a few years back, I gave it a go. I started using Foyr Neo, and I'm using it ever since. Nowadays, I focus more on helping people with how to use Foyr Neo for their advantage. Beside that, I'm a mom of three, busy, and I'd say that's all about me. I don't think if you all have any more questions. Now to go to Foyr. Foyr, as you might notice, is a really easy to use 3D design software. It helps you to create and visualize the spaces. It allows you to design walls, layouts, and interiors in a real time. And it makes the design process smooth and more efficient. And it doesn't matter if you're a professional or you're just starting, you can find Foyr Neo really easy to use. There are four key features in Neo. First of them is the ease of creating floor plans. The second is fast interior design process. And the third one, possibility of creating custom products. And the last one, high quality renders. And in Neo, you can easily switch between creating, designing, and rendering. You can also export 2Ds and elevations, which means that you have all you need in one place. You can use ready-to-go products from our Neo's catalog and from our textures catalog, but you're also able to upload 3D models, and you're able to apply and upload custom textures. With render quality that goes as high as 12K, you can give your clients lifelike renders. I think most users are really happy with our software. If you ever have problems, you can sign up for a masterclass or click on the chat box and we will answer all your questions and help you out. So now we can go back into our webinar. Sorry, something got paused. Just give me a minute. Can I ask everyone to turn their camera on just for a quick photo? Because I think everyone has joined. So if you're comfortable, if you don't have a problem with it, then we will appreciate it. Perfect. Okay. Can everybody see my screen? Because I think I have a problem with sharing my screen. Just reshare it again. Okay. Now you should be able to see my screen. So we went through the overview, and now that's our workshop agenda. So first we'll go through pros and cons of different wall types. Then I will give you live demos. I will show you how to create different wall types. And then we can talk about some 2025 wall trends. And then we will have a few minutes to questions and answers. So first we have types of walls. We will talk about curved walls first. They're very on trend now. They've been in design for very, very long time, but they just came back lately and they're very, very on trend. As interior designers, you might know that any curved areas might sometimes, give you problems. So they all have their disadvantages and advantages. I will start with the pros. So curved walls, they will add flow and energy into our spaces. They will create a natural, organic feel. They are great for partitions without, being bulky. And they can become a stunning feature when we will apply like some unique textures on them. Disadvantages, they need flexible materials because the rigid ones, they will leave gaps. They also are more expensive to do comparing to normal straight walls because they require skilled craftsmanship. But like it won't stop us from doing them anyways because they really look nice in interiors. Then we have rounded ceilings. Rounded ceilings will create spaciousness and opening in a room. They will always add volume and they will make the room feel bigger. Comparing to vaulted ceilings, rounded ceilings will give us more warmth, where vaulted ceilings were sometimes very high, can make the room feel a bit colder, where the round one will create more coziness and more warmth into the space. They work with just about any design, so we can incorporate them in very contemporary styles, but also in like a chateau or like a winter chalet or things like that. Then when it comes to disadvantages, so they're very costly to construct. Sometimes we might have problems with cracks of plasters because of the round shape. And we might have problems of choosing the right lighting for the rounded ceilings. The next, we have vaulted ceilings with skylights. With vaulted ceilings, they will give a volume to the room. They will make space feel bigger again because like the whatever we put a vaulted ceiling, then of course the room will be way higher. When we can accommodate skylights, then it will give us way more natural light. So the interiors will be brighter. We need to, of course, be careful with that because it might be overflown with natural light. We can add character by adding exposed beams or cathedral ceilings and things like that. When it comes to disadvantages, again, it's a higher cost because we need to go higher with construction. The cleaning and maintaining vaulted ceiling is way more difficult than normal height ceiling. And they can be less energy efficient because, as we know, all the warmth goes up. So it can just accumulate on the top of the vaulted ceiling. But when we have good insulation or on the floor heating, then it shouldn't be a problem. We have a vaulted ceiling in our home and it's like, and it's really, really warm, but we have a good insulation. So that's one of the issues that people might have when they have vaulted ceilings and they're not insulated properly. Angled sloped walls, we meet them in loads of buildings, especially when we have rooms or down at the attic space. They can add warmth and coziness to a room, bring more light because we can add longer windows, and they create like a unique feature. But when it comes to disadvantages, sometimes the space isn't used because like, they take just a bit of a space. Sometimes you might do a storage there, but that's not always the option. Sometimes when the windows are not put on correctly, then they will block the light. As I've noticed with skylight or light on sloped ceilings, wherever you apply light, you should leave the upper part on an angle, then it allows more natural light to flow into the room. But when we close them on like a straight angle, then the light is blocked and like, it doesn't go all the way to the room. Standard furniture won't fit. When the slope is big, then like, we need custom made furniture. And sometimes it will make space feel smaller. If we have sloped roof in a big room, then that's not a problem because we can use the space that is in the middle of the room. But when they're in the small rooms, then we just need to think of it, like, how we could make it work without enclosing the space and making the space smaller. As you all know, being interior designers, we sometimes, like, will have issues with things, or like, working with things that are not easy and straightforward, but that's our work to find the best solutions. So try to treat everything not as an obstacle, maybe more like way to make it a feature, or how you can, because of that, how you can make the space feel more unique. Then we have custom partition walls. They're starting to be very popular in residential buildings. They were more popular in offices before, but now we see more and more of them in residential buildings, like glass partitions between rooms, or slatted partitions, wooden partitions. So they will add visual interest into the room. They can help divide spaces and provides privacy when you need it in a room. And they can be customized to suit any design styles. When it comes to disadvantages, when placed in wrong positions, they may block light, especially when they're made from solid materials. They can reduce flow into the interior because, like, we're closing the space a bit when we're adding the partition, and glass partitions can limit our privacy. So it all depends what kind of partition we need in what kind of space, then we can work with them. As they do add into the room, they can, like, they can be a nice feature anyway. Textured walls, they are a big thing now, and they will be a big thing in 2025, especially in when it goes to 3D patterns and all the wall murals, panelings, things like that. Let me just close a window here. When it comes to advantages, they will add depth and dimensions to our walls, and of course will create like a point of interest. So it's a very easy way to create like a focal point in a room with a 3D texture. They will create dynamic when we have like a wood texture or more like a sculptural texture that will add even more interest and dimension for the room. It can hide all imperfections that we have on our drywall, and some of them can help reduce noise, especially the ones that are intended to do so. When it comes to disadvantages, some of them, they have very bold textures that can go out of style, and that can be pricey to change them. The materials that are made from, sometimes it may be like a foam or MDF, they are more prone to scratches or dents. So whatever we apply in textures, we need to have that in mind and maybe put them into, like, like behind the sofa, but not in an area where there's loads of movement because they can be damaged quite easily. Okay, so now we can go into demos part, and I will start with curved walls. Then at the end, you can add some, you can ask some questions if you have if you want, you can open your Foyr Neo and maybe try to do whatever I'm doing and see if it's easy for you to create it. So let me share a different screen. Okay, so we will start with curved walls. We have few options how you can create them. I will show you one of the examples first. So for example, in this room, I use the curved wall as a divider, as you can see. This wall is created with Create New Product tool, and I will show you in a second how to do it. When applying texture on curved wall that is created with the Create New Product tool, you need to choose, the best option will be a paint, like a sleek texture, because otherwise it will go into little column segments that I show you in a second. So that can be done with the Create New Product tool. We can also create a wall with a niche, like a curved wall with a niche, with the Create New Product tool as well, which I will show you also. And we can also use pre-made shapes. Just let me see quickly if I have any of them here. Yes, like semi-cylinder. So maybe I will start with that because that's the easiest. Now it all depends what curve you want to achieve. Are we talking about curved wall that goes to like inward inside the room or outward, so you can actually see the rounded edges. If you need a curve that goes inwards into your room, so like, so you will see, so the curve will go like that, then we can use the solid semi-cylinder wall doct. So you just simply put it on the wall, use the resize tool. You can resize it throughout your full wall. And you will have an effect of rounded wall going inwards. Okay, you can do like you can work with the round shape, so it can be less round, it can be more round. You can use the resize tool to do it. So we have a rounded wall like that. Now, when you use the geometric shapes from our catalog, then the texture is not an issue. So you can apply any textures. So we can do, for example, like this kind of texture and then just edit it. But you're able to apply any texture you want. So that's the advantage of using pre-made geometric shapes that we have in our catalog. Now, if you would like to do just like rounded wall going more into like a half of the room, or just like working more like a partition, then what you can use, we can use the hollow semi-cylinder floor duct. Again, you put it on the floor and you will resize it. This one is nice for doing like smaller partitions, but also for creating round edges on your walls. So you can use them for that as well. Now we'll just give it depth, and we have like a rounded partition. And again, you can apply any texture to this shape because it's not made with Create New Product tool. So you're able to add any texture you want to this one as well. Now I will show you how to create your ones with the Create New Product tool. If you sometimes need maybe like a particular curve, or you want to add a niche or things like that, then you can use the Create New Product tool. So with the Create New Product tool, we'll go on the floor. We'll click on Create New Product, create yourself. start with rectangle tool, and now I will draw a rectangle wherever I want my curved wall. Again, you will go as far as you want your curved wall to go. If you want it to go all over the room, then you can draw a rectangle to the full size, to the full width of your room. Now we'll give it some depth with the push and pull. And now we will use the arc tool to create our round wall. So I will start on the edge, finish on the other one, and now I will just create an arch. And now I will repeat that step. Now with push and pull, we will remove these parts here. And we have our wall. Can actually work on it a bit better. Just let me go from this side. It will look better than the other one. Now, if you click on done, we can resize it. And now when it goes to textures, no, just remove that ceiling here. So now when it comes to textures, like it looks, it looks sleek, but it's not. Whatever we're creating, we create new product tool and we create circular or arched shapes, then they're made with like a small segment. And I will show you how that looks if you will apply a texture to it. So for example, if we'll drop this texture, then as you can see, it goes into segments because this wall is made like from small pieces. But if you will apply paint, just regular paint, it can be like a glossy or a matte if you want to add some interest, then it will look nice and sleek. And if you will apply the same texture here, then you won't see any notice like between the your wall going like that and then the curve. It will look as the curve is actually going out of the wall, and it will really look nice and sleek. So I will show you an example of a ready-made render, how the render looks in a space like that. There we go. So this is the curved wall. So you can do a render and you can go a bit on an angle to show the curve. Okay, now I will show you how to create a curved wall with a niche, because that's like it's a similar process but a bit different. So we'll start again with the create new product tool. We again start with the rectangle. Now we'll give it a depth, but now we'll give it a full depth. And now first we will create the niche, the opening. You can do an arch one, you can do rectangular, square one, it doesn't matter.
Hi Magda, can you please
Yes.
share your screen again? I think there's some issue.
Oh, okay, yes, sure. Is it visible now?
No, it's still black.
Okay.
The screen is all black.
Okay, so let me share again. I stopped sharing and I will just share again.
Yes, please. Thank you.
No worries. Can you see it now?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's up.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect. So we'll start again. So we have a rectangle and I gave it a depth, like a full depth. When you create a niche, then you will create a cavity for it. So we will go nearly all to the, let's say, halfway. And then when we create the curve, then we can go a bit inside again. So now we'll create the curve. So that will be the same as we did with the other one. So edge to edge. Now we'll push this one in just a bit. So when we will bring the wall down, it will show the cavity. So we'll see if that works now. So now we will remove this part. So we'll go a bit further with the cavity here. It is a bit tricky because you need to know where to finish your niche to be able to see it on your curved wall. Okay, so we have it here, but I went all the way down. So you will have like an opening in the wall. But if you want to go all the way down, then you will have a wall behind it and it will look like a niche. Just give me a second. I have some questions here. Oh yeah, well, that's actually a good question. So Isabel asked, how can we add a texture to the curved wall we create on Create a Product tool? Is there a way to remove the segment so that the texture doesn't repeat? Unfortunately not. We're not able to remove the segments. So when you create in curved shapes with Create New Product tool, try to apply paint. If you are applying paint texture, then you won't see the segments. The segments will appear if you apply a texture, like a heavy texture that has a pattern on it. If you want, like, if you want to go with a pattern, then all will be okay and you won't see the segments and they won't be visible on the render as well. But if you go with a heavy texture, then unfortunately it will be visible. Some of you want to show how I created a cavity again. So just let me go back. So first we created, maybe I will just go back because my screen wasn't shared. So we'll just go back. So with the create new product, again, we'll just create a rectangle for our curved wall. Now we will give it a depth. Go all the way up to the ceiling. Now first we will create a cavity, like the opening, the niche. Curve will be here. Okay, might actually do it a bit, not as long. Now to create a cavity, you use the push and pull as well. With push and pull, you give a dimension, but you also create cavities. So let's say that we'll go up to here. And now with the arc tool, we'll create our rounded wall. We can give it a bit more depth so we have the space for the cavity. Might try to push it just a bit more. And now we will just remove this part. Let's say we should be fine by removing this one. And now when we click on done, we have a wall. We have a rounded wall with a niche inside. Because if you will use our ready-to-go product from the catalog, then you won't be able to apply a niche on, like, you know, with a round shape. Like if you will find a piece that it's straightened up, then you can put the niche in, but you won't be able to apply it on the rounded shape. So if you want to do that, then you can use create new products and create a niche like that. Can you add trim detail? Yes, you can add trim detail. So to do it, then you will just go to modify and you will have to, I'm just thinking we will be able to, that actually can be tricky because we won't be able to trace over even with the pen tool, like we won't be able to trace over the curve. So it will be, no, you won't be able to add the trim for that. Because even if we will do it with at the beginning to outline our trims and then do the curve, then you won't be able to add it. There's another question, can the niche be rounded inside instead of with a corner? No, it can't be rounded because we give it a depth, and whatever we give it a depth, it just goes in the shape of our niche. So we can't do it rounded, unfortunately. We can do an arch, so you can create an arch instead of rectangle, but it still will go all the way back and it will be flat at the end. So I'd say when you apply textures to it, then on the render, like, you know, it might not look like a very flat texture, but you can't make it rounded from the inside. Okay. Okay. So I think we can go to rounded ceilings now. If you will have any questions about the curved walls, then we can answer them at the end, because otherwise I won't walk you through everything that needs to be covered. And I would like to show you as much as I can. So now we would go to rounded ceilings and rounded roofs. So just let me share a different screen. So with rounded roofs and rounded ceilings, if you only need a rounded ceiling that will be only visible on your render, so you don't need to show it from the outside, then again, you can use our ready-to-go geometric shapes from our catalog and create from the semi-hollow cylinder. You can create your shape, and then you can apply any texture that you want to it. I think I have an example of one over here. So we have this one here. This one is made from the semi-cylinder that was, I think, floor docked. So you just simply resize it. I will show you how to do it. So you will resize it, and then you're able to apply any texture on it and edit the texture into your liking. So for example, with the ready-made, it will look pretty much the same as we did with the rounded walls. So if we go, I have it here in shortlist, but you just type in semi-cylinder and all the options will come up in the catalog. That's a floor duct. There are ceiling duct as well. And now we'll just simply resize it to suit your needs. It can go all the way on your ceiling. It can go halfway. It it all depends. What do you want to achieve? So now we just simply resize it, and then we are able to apply any textures we want on that. This one is solid, so all the textures will go nice and smoothly on it. So if you don't need that visible, then you can just resize it so it's sitting nicely in the room. If you want the trim to be visible, then you can go just a bit into the wall, so the trim is there. And now you can simply apply textures, any textures. It can be paint, but it also can be like more of a 3D texture, and it will nicely show on that shape. You can edit it with a number of tiles. There you go. So we have one, it can be resized to a full room if you need to. And then we can create one with the create new product as well. Now, if you would like to show the rounded roof from the outside, you can do that with this product as well. So what you will have to do, you will have to use the invisible material to cover your existing roof, and then you will be able to see the shape as on this one. So if you would like to show it from the outside on the render, then you just use the invisible material for your existing ceilings and for your walls. With the create new product tool, for this particular, you can recreate the pieces of the wall that will be missing because of the invisible material. But with this one here, you will already have your walls because they're existent here. So you can only use invisible material on these two walls and then on the ceiling. So if you go to texture and type in invisible material, then it's a good texture to know, because you can actually apply it to loads of different items, like hardware that you don't like, or if you have a vanity with a sink and you don't like the sink, you can cover the sink and put a different one. So invisible material is quite useful. So then you will just apply it. Let me resize it to a full length, the width of the room. Okay, so now if we will use the invisible material on our existing ceiling, you will see an outline of it in 3D, but on the renders, that won't be visible. So you don't have to worry. Now we can use the invisible materials on these walls on the site. And then if you will also need to use it on the outside wall, then you will have to recreate that shape with the, maybe we can even use like some of the shapes or the create new product tool just to cover this area here. So whatever you look into, you actually have a wall behind you. And then you can do the render, and on the render, you will have just around this ceiling visible, like this one here. So you can cover your existing roof and walls as well if you want to. Now I will show you how you can achieve that with Create New Product tool. Like in this particular case, the rounded roof is created with the Create New Product tool, and then this window is created with the Create New Product tool. As with the rounded ones, it will be difficult to find and match a window from the catalog to match the shape of the round ceiling. So if you will be using a create new product for that, then you can create your window for that purpose as well. So now let me show you how to do it with the create new product tool. We go to 3D. Now we'll start with the create new product again. Draw a rectangle. Give it a depth. Now create an arch. It can go all the way from the bottom, or you can start on whichever height you want, and then just add the round shape. So let's say that we do something like that. Now I will use the offset. You can use the pen tool to connect that from this side. So we will have our existing flooring, and we won't be using flooring from the create new product, from the product that we're creating with the create new product tool. Now we can remove this part with the trim tool. And now with the push and pull, we'll remove this part inside and this part out. So now you have your rounded ceiling. And if you would like to create a window, then you will just copy that shape. So pretty much you will click on done. Now you will go again into create new product tool. You will draw a rectangle and just create the same arch. And then you can create a window out of it. Just add framing and add a glass material. Just remember that if you're creating a window from create new product tool, you need to add glass material from one side and the other, because whatever we give it depth, all the surfaces can have like a different texture. So you need to remember to apply a texture from the other side as well. So it's actually see-through and you have a glass from both sides. Now we'll go to vaulted ceilings. Hopefully that was clear enough for you to understand and useful. So now we'll go to vaulted ceilings. Just let me open this one. So with vaulted ceilings, we can do a vaulted ceiling, just a ceiling without a skylight, and add, for example, beams for the interest. We also have ready to go ceilings like cathedral ceilings or like beamed ceilings in the catalog. So always research the catalog first. It will save you time, maybe with creating things. So if you go to catalog, type in what you're looking for, or go to building elements, and then we have ceiling design. So you can go through ceiling designs and find if there's anything you might find useful, because that will make your work faster and of course more efficient. Now, when it comes to vaulted ceilings, we can either create a ceiling like this one. So it's just a vaulted ceiling and we just add in beams without a skylight, or we can create a vaulted ceilings with a skylight. If you want to create a vaulted ceiling with a skylight, you need to use the create new product to do that, because if you will apply skylights from our catalog to this kind of ceiling, then you won't be able to see to the outside world, because it will be just an it will be just a product paste on the wall, but you won't be able to see through to the outside world. So with this one, that's the easiest one to do. We start with this one first. In 2D, you will have to adjust the height of your walls, so you can accommodate your vaulted ceiling, because your vaulted ceiling will be added into your existing ceiling. So just remember to adjust the height and accommodate space for your vaulted ceiling. With the easiest one to do is if you go to catalog and type in ceiling duct triangle, scroll down and use this shape here. It will be docked to a ceiling. And now you simply resize it to a size that you want. It can go as low as you want, so you can create like a bigger slope. It can go one way, so it can be a type ceiling, it can be like a sloped ceiling. Again, it all depends what do you need. So that we do like a half and half. Now, if you do half and half, then you can either repeat the step or just simply clone it and paste it on the other side. If you need to rotate it, then just rotate it. And now your vaulted ceiling is pretty much done. Now you can add a texture, whichever texture you want, to both of the parts. And you're ready to go. With this one, if you want to use this one and still add some lights, then what I recommend is to make them a bit smaller, to like leave a bit of ceiling space in between them. And if you will go to, just sit in one place. If you will go to our catalog and type in skylight, then we have the skylight that actually can be resized and can go all the way in the middle. I'll show you the example. So this one, if we will use this one, for example, then it can be resized, and then like it will be on the ceiling, so you can see to the outside world, and you can add a feature like that. Just resize it and you're done. Now, if you want to create a custom ceiling with a skylight, then we will use the create new product to do it. So with the create new product tool, we will start with the rectangle. With push and pull, we'll give it some depth. I will show you example on one slope, just to show you more clearly how to create the windows, the skylights. Now we'll remove this part with the push and pull. Now we'll rotate it like that, and now we can create the skylights. If you know your measurement, like in what distance the windows need to be or what size windows, then you can use the ruler, measure everything out, and then just simply trace over it. I will just pretty much eyeball it, so. Okay, so we have a shape like that. Now what we'll do the offset. So that will be framed for our window. And now with push and pull, we'll push it inside. You can create another offset in the back if you want for your glass. And now if you go to 3D, then again, you will use invisible material and you will apply glass material from this side and from the other side. And I can show you an example how that looks on a finished render. I should have one here somewhere. So yes, so that's how it looks. So you can actually see to the outside world. So you will just use the invisible material on the existing ceiling, on the wall that is behind it. You will create a wall with the create new product tool or use any of the geometric shapes like the rectangle shape to just, create your wall space. And if you apply glass material, then you can see to the outside. So if you need a vaulted ceiling with skylights, then the create new products tool is the one to go. Because it doesn't have any chord shapes, then you're able to add any texture to it. So you don't need to be worried that any texture will look weird or whatever. It will go nice and smoothly because it doesn't have any curves. That's why it's one surface. It's not made with segments. It's only for curved surfaces. Okay, so we covered the vaulted ceilings and the sloped walls because you do them the same. Now we can go to the partition walls. So let me share the screen again. With the partition walls, I don't think if there's actually a need to create one. Maybe if you will need like a rounded one that I showed you at the first example. But in a catalog, you can find so many partition walls that you can really use any of them and just make them work into your advantage. We have like slatted partition walls and glass partition walls. So I always say that your imagination is the limit and you can always change the purpose of a product. So just think outside of the box when you're using products from our catalog. They can be a bit modified, like you can add products onto another product and just use pre-made ones wherever you have a chance and for a faster workflow. So I will actually just show you a few examples of partitions instead of showing how to create them, because you can just drag and drop them into your project.
Hi, Magda.
Yes.
Please share the screen again. It has gone blank.
Oh, yes. Okay. Perfect. It shows that I'm sharing, so sorry. Can you see it now?
No. Can you
Okay,
restart?
I will reshare again.
Thank you.
Is it visible now?
No.
No. I will just try to use a different tab. So
Yes.
yeah. Okay, perfect. Whatever you can see my screen, let me know, because from my side, it says that I'm screen sharing, so I can't, I can't see if it's black. I just see a screen and it shows that I'm screen sharing, so I'm not aware of that. So just, yeah, let me know. So when it goes to partitions, we have loads of them in the catalog, the pre-made ones, the paneled ones, like walls for TV walls, fireplace walls, partition walls. So yeah, so try to use the ready-to-go product wherever you have a chance. So from here, we, for example, have the glass partition that can also work. It's curved, so it can also work as a curved wall when you will just change the texture of it. So we have this kind of glass partition. If you just need a glass curved partition, then you have it here. Again, you can resize it, you can give it more depth, and you can simply change the texture of it, and you have one partition. Then we also have like a wood slat curved partition that is ready to go. So you don't need to do anything with it as well. You can change the color of the wood or the texture if you need to, but that's a ready one and ready to go. So it will help you to work faster. So if you go to catalog and go to building elements, then we have office partitions. So you can see what kind of partitions are there. You can accommodate them into residential projects as well, just to change the purpose of them a bit. And we also have like a feature walls. So if you do need feature walls, then we have pre-made feature walls as well. The featured walls, you can find loads of textured walls there. So if you want to do 3D textures on your walls, you can use the ready-to-go featured walls as well, and just paste them on your wall, and you will have like a paneling or any other features that maybe you want to use in your project. When it goes to textured walls, what more I can say is, as you are aware, you can upload your own textures, so you can do fully customized wall textures if you will upload your own texture and apply it on the wall or any other product. If you need multiple wall textures, or if you want to create like some kind of murals and things like that, for the murals, you can use the Create New Product tool. You can use the shapes from our catalog, just resize them, paste them on the wall, and apply different textures to them. So you can do like we have even like art shapes, so you can put them on, like put maybe wallpaper on them and the paint on the rest of your walls, and you have like a beautiful feature wall. If you need multiple textures, then you can use the Create New Product for that. So the very popular is the, let's say, like a wallpaper up and a paint down, or the other way around. So you basically go to Create New Product, start with the rectangle tool, and just outline the space where you want to apply a different texture. Click on Done, and now you're able to apply different textures. It will be flat on your wall, so you won't see any step or anything like that, because we didn't give it any depth, but you're able to apply different textures in these areas. This one is very useful for creating splashbacks for your kitchen or for your bathrooms. If you need like if you have like an open shower and you want to do different tiles in your shower area, different tiles on the rest of the floor, then you can use that as well, create an outline of your shape, and then apply different texture into these different areas. So for example, we can use like one texture here, and then we can use different texture on the top. So you're able to outline them with so you're able to apply any texture you want in that area. I'll just check what time we have. Okay, I'm a chatty person, so that's why we went above the time. Now I will answer a few of your questions, and then at the we can go back to the slides or the trends for the 2025, and at the end you will get a short survey, and we'll really appreciate your feedback. So let me jump to some questions here. So can you add a fireplace to a curved wall? That will be difficult. I say maybe you would be able to use the technique that we did with the niche and then paste a fireplace at the back of the niche. Maybe that will work for you because the surface there is flat. So you can choose a fireplace from our catalog and paste it there. So, you know, for the actual fire element on your renders. More questions. How to add skirting in a curved wall. So if you're creating a curved wall with the Create New Product tool, then unfortunately we're not able to add skirting boards to that. But I've noticed even like, you know, in interior trends now that most of the time when you have curved walls, then either the skirting boards are not used at all, excuse me, in an interior, as sometimes in the more contemporary buildings, they don't use skirting boards at all, especially when you have like a polished concrete floor or things like that. Or if you have like a curved feature wall, then if you were like, you know, apply a nice texture to it, and maybe paint the skirting boards the same color as your wall, then it won't be visible that you don't have a skirting on your curved wall. Just let me check there's so many questions. I'm just trying to run through them. How we can integrate lighting fixtures like chandeliers or recessed lights into vaulted ceilings. So for the vaulted ceilings, you will have to, like, if sometimes when you will be applying products, it will, you know, snap straight into the position. So just let me reshare a screen with the vaulted ceilings first. Is my ceiling visible? Sorry, is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yes, okay, perfect. So the lights, so you can either like whatever you will add in chandeliers, some of them they will have like, you know, the feature that connects with the wall. There will be like the plates will be bigger, some of them will be smaller, so you can actually, you know, put the light a bit up and just like, you know, have the wires just sticking out of your slanted ceiling. if that's easier. Well, if you have exposed beams like in this one here, then you can add ceiling lights to the beams, so that will be easier. But for the recessed lights, you can use, let me quickly go to the catalog. You can use the free movement and the rotate tool to try to angle them and put them into your vaulted ceiling. Okay, so you see like some of them, they will go onto your ceiling, so you won't even have to change the position of them. But if any of them won't, then you can just try, and some of them will be attached to your existing ceiling, so you can just bring them down, just click on them and just bring them down a bit with a free movement, so they're actually visible. Now I lost it. You can go to 2D and ceiling plan mode. It should be somewhere here. For to make it easier, try to use lights that will actually go on a slope. Like if you need recessed light like this one, then this one will work. When it goes to chandeliers, then the best way will be just to push it in a bit, because if you were to do it on an angle, then your full light will be on an angle. So for example, like this one, it got attached to the ceiling straight away. So what you could do, could bring it down a bit. And now if you go to free movement and rotate, you can try to make it straight. Yeah, like that. Then maybe try to bring it like a bit down. Yeah, like with physical lights, it's different, like, because the wires, they're elastic, like, and whatever, you will put it on a slope that they will hang nicely. But for a nice visual effect, just use the rotate tool and try to rotate it and put it into position. Once you have created your room space, how do you stop the dimensions changing when you zoom in and out? Well, your dimensions shouldn't change when you're zooming in and out of your room. I think I have dimensions switched off. Can you elaborate on that, Monica? Is it like are they like a change? Are they like because they're bigger, or because they shouldn't be changing if you have your floor plan drawn in 2D and then you switch to 3D, like your floor plan is ready, you're like, unless you will click on the wall, then you can move the wall or resize it. But if you're not clicking on any wall, if you're even on the inside of your project and you will zoom in or out, then your measurements shouldn't change.
Not change. Okay. Okay. But how do you set the room size and the ceiling so that when you're moving things in and out, sometimes, the shape changes?
But like the shape of the room, or?
Yeah, because like I've started with the bathroom. I'm very new to this. So every time I move in the shower door or something, then accidentally something else will change. So how do
Okay.
you sort of
You might-
first, when you create your walls, lock that space and, say this is it, and then you can start putting things in?
When your walls, unless you will click on them and move them, they are locked. We're not able to lock any other items, but sometimes like maybe the shower is with the shower tray, and maybe that's why like you have a feeling that it's moving more objects, but it shouldn't be moving wall.
Okay.
If you're making changes in 2D, then maybe when you click in on a shower, like if it's close to the wall, maybe you're clicking on a wall, maybe try to move it in 3D and see if that works. Because like, unless, even if I will move this light here, unless I will click on the wall, then nothing, like no walls should change within my floor plan.
Okay.
Yeah. As soon as you finish them, they are locked. And if you need more help, you can schedule a masterclass and we can help you out and we can go through all the questions that you have. Especially when you started now, there's like, there's so many things to learn. You can schedule masterclass and we can go through that. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
Yes, and you can drop any queries. If you have some questions, you can drop them at connect@foyr.com and someone will get back to you.
Okay. Thank you.
No worries. There is another question. What is the purpose of adding skylight to vaulted ceiling? Light, natural light. Like the vaulted ceilings, they're high up. Like, so they will make your space feel bigger, but if you don't add any natural light, then they might make it darker as well, because like, you're adding ceiling space. So if it's very, very high ceiling and you don't have enough openings on your walls, then the upper part of your ceiling will look quite dark. If the vaulted ceiling is not as high and you have loads of natural light coming in from the walls, like loads of large windows and things like that, then you don't need to add any skylights. The skylights, or the only purpose for the skylights is to let more natural light in. We will finish for now. I will just go back. I will quickly walk you through some trends, the 2025 that we'll see coming into. I'll just reshare this screen. I think it's not visible. Let me go this way. Okay. I hope my screen is visible. So for the trends of 2025, these are the ones that we put out. That we think will be the most usable ones, like combine wood, metal, and concrete for layered aesthetics. Wood, all the natural materials like wood, marbles, they will be very on trend as they are now in 2024. They will go on trend in 2025. Everything that comes that it's like organic or brings like a natural feel to a space, like organic shapes and using like organic plasters, micro cement, things like that, that will be all big in 2025. Curves as well. Textured walls, they will be on trend as well. I think murals are coming back, especially the ones with nature themes. They will be very, very popular. Wood paneling is for a few years now, and it goes stronger and stronger every year. I think that maybe for more contemporary buildings, it will be all like a natural materials, like, maybe wood with concrete, or as I mentioned, the plaster and micro cement. We will see more of it. Travertine will be very popular stone as well, and decorative plaster. But I also think that we might see more of dark, moody colors. For the last few years, the neutrals were on top, and like more muted colors, muted spaces, bright spaces. I think now we might maybe go more into deeper colors to create like a bit more moody interiors. Lightings will be also very very on trend in 2025, especially the ones where you can accommodate them within the room and like, you know, maybe change the colors of them and things like that. So that's my opinion, like, you know, on what could be very on trend in 2025 from what I can see, and all the trends even in new buildings and things like that. But aside from the trends, like whatever someone is building a house, of course that they want to have it you know, like a nice and trendy, but we can't go all the way with the trends. I always try to focus on more traditional approach, even for the trends. So even for the murals, I will always integrate them with the rest of the color used, the textures used, the rest of the overall feel of the space of the house that it will be put into. So like, you know, so it's not overwhelming, so it's not out of place. So yeah, well, you're interior designer, so you know how your work looks like. We need to follow the trends, but not all the way. So I really hope you learned something new from this webinar. Let us know what you think about it at the feedback that that it will show on your screens at the end of this webinar. And thank you for being here with us. And I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Oh, sorry, and we have a QR code here. Sorry, so you can follow us for more inspiration, and also on Instagram, you can tag us and use Foyr Neo and Foyr Neo creators, and you can get featured on our website and use the QR code to follow us. Thanks so much.